bum bum, bum bum bum. I want to have my own theme song. Cheryl Ling, and subscribe to my new channel, Cheryl Ling. Yes, I just started it a couple months ago, transferring from the old My Rice Girl account. So I need you to click subscribe, whether you want it or not. It's not nonsense. This whole thing about James Comey and the testifying in front of the Senate and hearing triggering the leakage, the soap opera goes on and on. Let me tell you something. All this foo-foo, millions of dollars spent, conspiracy theory with Trump and Russia, it's so bogus. From what I have gathered, I mean, admittedly, I listen sometimes. I'm not listening enough because of the short attention thing. So please don't stop. Rush Limbaugh and Michael Savage, etc., etc. These are people that invested their whole lives and are professors, and they, they are not liberals. I mean, we need more people like that in the school system, because the school system, like the UC, they're being brainwashed by these faculties. They're total liberals, meaning that, I don't know, somehow they are haters of God. They want to introduce this so-called no border thing, just like Obama. Who hates America, literally, who hates America and think America is evil. And I can tell you firsthand that America is the greatest savior, literally, of the world. Because without America, we, the Chinese people, will be serving sushi under the banner of this, the rising sun of Japan. I just got to watch some of the war stories, and I think by Oliver North, I think everybody got to own those DVDs. So you see that most of the people that were killed were white people. And I don't know, what's this Black Lives Matter? What's that? I mean, this is really turning me off. Is the Obama sort of like, you can't criticize them because they're colored. Oh, wait a minute. Who went and fought in these wars? They're mostly white folks, all right? And this country are founded on that principle. There was the war between Great Britain and America, Washington, and the country was established. So, I mean, just get it straight. Okay, this is America. So people that came afterwards, it was based on the fact that you can contribute to this country and not to be a derelict, a deficit, a criminal, and people who hate us. I mean, why do we need that? We just had 3 Rangers killed in Afghanistan by these so-called Taliban that pretending to be Afghan soldiers. See, this is the infiltration that we know. We're trying to help people, and then they infiltrated our camps, and then they took our weapons and killed our people, just like the Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious investigation should go on because they're victims. I just think that there should be a clarification. These cases, Benghazi, had victims. Our embassy were burned down and shot to holes, shred to pieces, blown, and firebombed to nothing. Ambassador Stevens and the brave Americans were brutally killed because of a cover-up. It's not because of a stupid video. I can't believe these people are not investigated because of MSM. The mainstream media tried to cover it up for them. Susan Rice just said, "Oh, it's a video." There's no video. It's a terroristic, calculated act because there's an arms deal going behind our backs with our tax dollars. And again, Obama is a traitor, and he should be in jail right now. He's also an instigator. Instead of retiring, he's plotting. How can we upset? How can we overthrow this Trump administration? Because the Obama people done so much evil. They're afraid. They're afraid that it may be uncovered. And they had everything, the election in the bag. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be a shoo-in. It was an easy win. There was none of these bullshit, so-called Russian thing. I mean, they just somehow figured it out because they lost the election. I think Mark Levine said that, who was in charge of NSA? Who was in charge last year, 2016? For 8 years straight, it was the Obama administration, Susan Rice and so on. Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, and so on, and John Kerry and all these people, right? They're the swamp. Because if there was any cyber attack, they're in charge. They're supposed to have all the intelligence. Susan Rice. Hello. I know. I like rice. I eat rice, but I'm not for rice. I'm not for Susan Rice, because they got nowhere to hide now. Since the last election, we're just fed up. People are fed up with all these that going under our nose, spending trillions of our dollars, importing terrorism into our country. That's really what it is. Because you got San Bernardino people, and you got all these imams and mosques, and you say, we can't discriminate against them. It's not about discrimination. It's about the ideology that these people want to take your heads off, for crying out loud. So go back to the so-called collusion. I don't get it. And, I think these folks are I'm talking about Mark Levine, they analyzed it pretty well, as the story goes. So Hillary Clinton is supposed to be a shoo-in. But, oh, wait, lo and behold, there's that Bernie Sanders. So how can we shut him down? And they rigged it against Bernie Sanders, and that was all in this so-called email scandal. The emails between... No, the email scandal is not made up. These are like real emails, Podestas, and within the DNC, the DNC stands for the Democratic National Committee, right? So they were writing to each other, how can they rig this election? It's going to be going into the Clintons' bag. And they did so to the dismay of the staffer who was in charge of all the communications. His name is Seth Rich. If you really look into it, the so-called the Clinton body count, just Google Clinton body count. I'm sure you'll find out more about that Seth Rich murder. So he was in charge, and he was in charge of the DNC communication. So he has all these emails in his hands, and he was upset because now the election was rigged for Clinton's favor. He said, oh no, he's going to get it out there. According to Julian Assange, the WikiLeakers, the founder of WikiLeaks, he didn't say outright when he gave an interview that it was Seth Rich. He just said, our sources. We have to protect our sources because they could face being murdered. And Seth Rich was murdered, gunned down in Washington when he was supposed to testify about this thing, about this email leak or whatever. So the leak, according to Julian Assange, which is from within the DNC, that totally makes sense, because why is it no RNC mail leak? Let me ask you a question. And wait a minute, who was in control? Again, for the past 8 years, was Obama and his cronies. They were in control. If there was any kind of cyber attack, they should be responsible for the so-called Russian attacking our cyber system and getting all this email and somehow dump it to WikiLeaks, and Julian Assange released them, and that hurt Hillary Clinton. There's no Russian that point a gun to our heads and say, don't vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, are you serious? This is so ridiculously funny. But they couldn't, so everything was going their way, the DNC, right? And Hillary's supposed to be shooting, but it didn't go that way. American people voted for Donald Trump because we do need to drain the swamp, the establishment, and everybody that turned against him, the MSM, I mean, they hate Trump and everything. So they go, oh shit, oh, what are we gonna do? Okay, let's dig it out. This is just blame the Russians, Donald Trump, because you have to understand how evil that thought behind that is. They're saying blaming the Russians, that's the only way that they can use that as a reason of treason. Yes, reason for treason, to try to bring down Donald Trump. That was the only reason for them to try to really to pretty much cancel out your votes. And they were just saying you're nothing. You are nothing. And that's what they did with the judges. They're saying you're nothing. Like California, we voted against the same-sex marriage, and the easiest excuse for the judge, liberal damn judges. That's why you got to change the system for him to just strike down millions of people's vote. What are we voting for? We just fucking want to strangle that freak. right? Just strike it down and say, oh, this is based on discrimination, so they nullify your vote. And this is the way they try to nullify our votes, by saying that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians, when they're in fact